This episode is brought to you by pastasworld.com, where you can find jigsaw puzzles, coffee and tea mugs, canvas and poster prints, iPhone cases, and more. You can even order custom items with your own pictures. Go to pastasworld.com or the Pastas World shop on Etsy to learn more.
You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
Hi, and welcome to the I Love This TV Show podcast. I'm your host, Noelle from pastasworld.com. Each season of this podcast will contain a TV show in full. This means the length of the season depends on the length of the TV show. The first season is, of course, The Golden Girls. The Golden Girls, Season 1, Episode 14. That Was No Lady. Rose and Sophia are playing Trivial Pursuit out on the lanai. The question is, who is the world's fastest man? The correct answer is Jesse Owens. Sophia's answer, however, is Dominic Tansey. He got 4 women pregnant in one night. Blanche comes out on the lanai and tells them she is finally going to do something she's wanted to do for a long time. Sophia asks if she's going to finally install a trapeze over her bed. Blanche pauses as she pictures things in her mind, but then she continues on. She actually is going to get a new car. However, to afford it, she needs to get rid of her current car. Sophia suggests that she sells it to Rose, as Rose needs a new car. Rose, though, she doesn't want it. Rose: oh, I couldn't buy your car. It's not my type. I want a car that says practical. Your car says available. Blanche: well, just take off my personalized plates. Blanche offers her the car for 2 weeks, no questions asked. And Rose decides to give it a try. Dorothy comes out on the lanai in an excellent mood. She has a date. Dorothy: I am going out with a new man tonight, and he's not Italian. Blanche: oh, who is he, Dorothy? Dorothy: oh, his name is Glen O'Brien. Rose: where did you meet him? Sophia: his name's O'Brien. 2-to-1, she met him at a gin mill. Dorothy: he's a teacher at the school where I've been subbing, a gorgeous gym teacher. Dorothy's description has Blanche captivated. Dorothy cut in line in the cafeteria so that she could talk to him, and she fell in love in about 30 seconds. Blanche tells her she got hit by the thunderbolt of love. Rose then tells a story about how she met and fell in love with Charlie. She was 8 at the time. She bought an insurance policy from him for her wagon. It was destroyed by hogs, and he replaced it. Dorothy winds up in a hotel with her gym teacher. They've been together for 3 weeks now. They get sentimental, but it goes downhill when he tells her that he's married. He starts giving her excuses for why he's still married. Back at the house, Rose tells Blanche her car is making some weird noises. Blanche blows it off. The phone rings. Rose gets it, and she mistakes the caller, who is actually someone from the school district, for Glen. But it was actually Mr. Yamamoto about a teaching job for Dorothy. Rose: Dorothy, Mr. Yamamoto just called about a teaching job. Dorothy: oh, I'm not ready to go back to work yet. Rose: are you depressed about Glen? Dorothy: no, I'm depressed because Phyllis George left the morning news. Of course I'm depressed about Glen. For 3 weeks he made me the happiest woman in the world. This past week without him has just been miserable. Dorothy is still upset about Glen. Blanche tells her to be discreet with Glen. Rose thinks Dorothy did the right thing. The phone rings, and she answers it. Turns out it's Glen. Dorothy: hello? Oh, hello, Glen. Rose: hang up on that bed hopper. Blanche: don't hang up on him. That man cares for you. Hop, hop. Dorothy tells him she's done with him and hangs up. The girls head into the kitchen, but Dorothy stays behind. She calls Glen back. She tells him that she misses him. Rose comes back into the living room while she's on the phone, and so Dorothy changes the conversation and pretends that she's going back to work. Another night, Dorothy comes back from a date with Glen. Rose simply says her name, and Dorothy has a bit of a meltdown. They both go in different directions and then come back together to talk. Rose is very upset that she's seeing Glen again. Dorothy: No, we spent dinner at dinner. We spent the evening at a motel. Rose: A motel? Dorothy: A cheap, tawdry, bare-bulbed den of iniquity? Dorothy: We didn't drive to Sodom and Gomorrah, Rose. It was a very pleasant place over on Biscayne Bay. They both get upset and go off in different directions. But Dorothy comes back into the kitchen. Blanche comes in as well. Rose informs her that Dorothy is seeing Glen again. Blanche tells her about her third cousin, and Rose is just very unhappy about the Dorothy Glen situation. Rose: Evil is as evil does. Dorothy: Oh, will you stop being so judgmental? This is a situation you know nothing about. At least Blanche has been there, and she knows what I'm going through. Dorothy starts yelling at Rose. Blanche tells them she's never been with a married man. Rose and Dorothy think she's full of crap, but she says it's because the wife will get the better gifts. Sophia then joins them in the kitchen. Sophia: So you started up with your married man again? Dorothy: How did you know? Sophia: I'm the amazing Kreskin. I was listening outside the door. Sophia gives her a talking to as well. Sophia: I raised you to have respect for yourself, not to be somebody's floozy. Out on the lanai, Sophia is listening to music. Rose comes in looking for Blanche. Blanche tells her she can't sell her the car. She spills the beans about the car due to guilt. It's basically a piece of crap. Rose tells her that someone stole her car. Blanche becomes super upset, but Sophia tells her that if it was insured, she'll get paid the full Blue Book value. Blanche is thrilled. Dorothy comes out on the lanai, asking Sophia where she hid her shoes. Sophia tells her she hears her pacing at night and knows she's not as happy as she says she is. Dorothy: I'm leaving now to meet Glen and have a perfectly marvelous time. Sophia: I hope he's taking you bowling. Dorothy: Bowling? Sophia: Yeah, you can rent shoes there. Dorothy is in the hotel room with Glen, and Glen tells her that they'll have to take separate cars for dinner. Dorothy tells him that she needs to talk, that it's not working for her. Dorothy: Glen, forget dinner. We need to talk. Things aren't working out anymore, and I don't know what to do to make them any better. You can't leave your wife, and I'm not cut out to be the other woman. He refuses to leave his wife because there's no guarantee with Dorothy, and he doesn't want to be alone. Dorothy says goodbye and heads to the door. Before she leaves, he tells her he loves her. She turns, tells him that she loves him, and then she walks out the door. Back at the house, Sophia is doing dishes, and Dorothy enters the kitchen. She tells her that she broke up with Glen. Sophia tells her she wasn't angry, just worried. They have a heart-to-heart. Rose and Blanche come into the kitchen. Dorothy tells them she broke up with Glen. Blanche got her new car. They want to go cruising. But since Dorothy doesn't want to go, they all stay home to cheer her up. Dorothy can't take it, so she says, Let's go cruising. We'll be right back after a quick break. Favorite quotes. Sophia: You decided to install a trapeze over your bed? Sophia: Rose, it's a used car, not a seat on the space shuttle. Dorothy: We started talking, and in 30 seconds I was in love. Blanche: You've been hit by the thunderbolt. Love at first sight. Rose: He paid for a new wagon, even though my policy didn't cover acts of swine. Dorothy: Your children are over 30. You're still staying for them? Blanche: An auto mechanic is the last person you take a car to. They only make money if they tell you something's wrong with it. Blanche: Sometimes we just have to grab our happiness where we can get it. Rose. A motel, a cheap, tawdry, bare-bulbed den of iniquity. Rose. Evil is as evil does. Sophia. I raised you to have respect for yourself, not be somebody's floozy. Dorothy. You can't leave your wife, and I can't be the other woman. Some fun facts about this episode. Blanche is getting a new car. Rose test drives Blanche's current car for about 2 weeks. Blanche has personalized plates that read, available. Dorothy has a date with an Irish gym teacher. Rose tells the story of how she met and fell in love with Charlie. Dorothy and Glen have been together for 3 weeks. The pair are in love. Dorothy loves the fact that she doesn't have to wear flats with him. Glen tells her he's married. Dorothy ends their relationship. Rose takes a call for Dorothy that she thinks is Glen, but it's actually Mr. Yamamoto from the school district. Dorothy is still depressed about Glen, so she's not ready to go back to work. Dorothy decides to get back together with Glen. Dorothy, her mother, and the girls are all a bit tense over this affair. Dorothy finally ends it with Glen. He doesn't want to leave his wife because if it doesn't work out with Dorothy, he'll be alone. She pretty much thinks he's a coward. Blanche gets a new car, and they all go cruising. This is a bit of a tough episode to process. I think especially for Dorothy. Her reaction when she finds out that Glen is married. I think really it's the whole thing that when she was with Stan did the same thing to her. He cheated on her a lot more than she knew. She didn't find out all the truth until much later. But she understands how it is to be the wife with the cheating husband who's lying and everything else. Now, the fact that she went back with him once she found out after just a week, that I'm not totally sure on. I mean, ultimately, she decides, nope, this isn't for me. I can't be the other woman. And she breaks up with him for real. And she's going to feel bad for a bit, but she's going to feel better probably once she's back to normal again and over him. Ultimately, she just couldn't be the other woman. And most likely that was because of the fact that she was cheated on by her husband. Now, Rose's reaction, she is the goody two-shoes kind of character, so it makes sense that her reaction is, oh my god, you can't do that. That's just so wrong. Because that is how Rose would react, I think. She's the wholesome one. You know, she goes to church because she mentions that in several different episodes. And Sophia, she's just worried about her daughter because she doesn't want her daughter to be hurt. Which is pretty much the classic mom response in most of these situations. And Blanche, well, Blanche surprises everybody with the fact that she's not been with a married man. Well, at least she says she's not been with a married man. And I do love her excuse about how the fact that, well, he's going to give the wife the better present because he's going to feel more guilty about that. And so she just didn't feel like it was worth her time. So I guess in that perspective, it kind of makes her seem a little shallow, a little greedy, because presents and gifts is what she cares about more than like a loving, caring relationship there. But at the same time, too, she also coaches Dorothy to get back with Glen, while Rose is like, no, 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 no. So, I mean, it's really, most of the time, I think I would probably have to lean with no, don't have an affair with a married guy, because it's never going to work out anyway. Though, in modern society, with people who are with multiple people, poly, I believe is the correct term, it doesn't seem to be as much of an issue, but then people could know, people could not know, and it's just how it all works in that situation, and each situation is its own situation. It works for some, it does not work for others. Ultimately, though, Dorothy had to do what was best for her sanity and her mental health and her conscience, and that was ending the relationship with Glen, no matter how much it hurt. Because ultimately, and she was right on the money, she said that she would wind up being alone in the end, and that she cared too much for herself to let that happen. And I really liked that moment for Dorothy. I really liked the fact that she actually put herself first in that situation.
It's been great reliving this episode with you. Please check out the podcast website, anchor.fm/I love this TV show, no spaces. You'll be able to see the show notes and also support this podcast. To check out everything I'm up to and nerding about, head over to pastasworld.com. You'll also find additional content there. Thanks for listening, and stay golden.